Hello and welcome to the fourth and final show from Winter Games Obsidian. We've already had the Big Air, the Free Ride and the Park Jam, and now we come to the most unique and creative element of Obsidian. This is the filmmaking. 3 teams are going to showcase their mountain shred and overall edits tonight, and we're going to crown the Obsidian champions. Without further ado, let's meet the teams. Next to me here, we've got the yellow team, captained by Janina Kuzma, one of the few women to successfully cross the floor from free riding to freestyle. She's been partnered up with Jason Hancock, a filmmaker who likes the method acting process of immersion in his adventure and expedition filmmaking. Then we have the red team, aka Team Wells. Jossie Wells is arguably New Zealand's most successful competitive skier. He's been partnered up with Tim Pearce, one half of Two Bearded Men. The other half, Toby Crawford, has another majestic beard, yes. But together, they've built a global reputation for acclaimed storytelling. And then on the end here, we have a very formidable pairing. We've got the mighty Sam Smoothie. I would say go and check out his back catalogue. It is the thing of nightmares, as steep and exposed big mountain skiing as you're ever likely to see. And then Nick Hine, part of the Diaries Down Under crew, has that rare gift of being able to capture personality and emotion and translate them effortlessly onto the screen. So, 3 equally talented filmmakers, all with very different approaches to storytelling, covering one single event. It is a mouth-watering prospect, and we're going to get into these films very shortly. Before we do, though, let's take a look back at what's happened in Obsidian so far.
The event kicked off with Big Air, and it was a dream start for Team Wells, winning each category. Unfortunately, it cost the team captain Jossie Wells a broken arm. Team Kuzma took second, but having played their joker, turned that into 160 points. It was first day wooden spoon, though, for Team Smoothie. That was all about to change, though, as Team Smoothie played their joker in the second event, Free Ride. A podium sweep in the men's snowboarding helped them take the win and net a massive 220 points. That meant after 2 events, Team Smoothie led on 280, Team Kuzma were in the chase with 240, while Team Wells had gone from hero to 0. Well, 180 points. No jokers played in the Park Jam, just a beautiful bespoke course and perfect conditions. Team Kuzma took their first win of the event, courtesy of winning performances from Zoe Sadowski-Sinnott and Finn Billis. Team Smoothie took second, and the misery was compounded for Team Wells in third. So after 3 events, Team Smoothie are leading, Team Kuzma are in second, Team Wells looked down but critically not out. They're playing their joker for double points in the 4th event, the Mountain Shred.
Well, seeing as you guys made the call to play your joker, I think it's only fitting that your edit comes up first. So, let's check it out. This is Team Wells' Mountain Shred.
Well, Jay, you want to ride?
Absolutely, bro.
Jump in.
Going up the Coronet Peak.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Do it.
Woo.
Hell yeah. Let's do this.
Woo, Coronet, it's on, man.
Oh.
Yeah. Steve, bro, I'll call you back in a second.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, look at these
Yeah.
balls.
Cool customers. Yeah.
What's up? Jump in.
Woo.
What's happening?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
We're off.
That is a super impressive starter and very worthy of a joker, I think. Jossie, you weren't able to get up there, so what was it like watching that back? What stood out to you?
Well, I mean, we had a bunch of brainstorm with the whole crew at the start of the week about what we wanted to do for the Mountain Tree video, and we kind of landed on the idea of doing like a late 90s, early 2000s, like skateboard, punk, fast, fish eyes kind of vibe. And so I was super excited to see the edit, and when it came out, it just blew past all my expectations.
What's the highlight for you?
I think the highlight was just being on the hill with all the athletes throwing down. Everyone just took it by the horns, and yeah, it was kind of a day that was just about why we ski and snowboard in the first place. Rat packing around the hills with your friends.
Okay, we're going to check out Team Kuzma's edit, which took place across the Wakatipu Basin from Coronet Peak at the Remarkables. And as you're about to see, on the cinematography front, they had a secret weapon.
Well, I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see. It looks something like this.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man's so tough, but man's keep walking. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch man, please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees, I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the. Wake up, get out the sheets. We came for war, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. Yeah. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man's so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch man, please use caution. Beg, please get on your knees, came from the jungle, up in the trees. I got a few tricks up in the sleeve. One wrong move, I'ma let out the. Big shoes, check out the crease. Blow like I'm Bigfoot, step on the beat. Make a man's run till he step out the cleats. When the whole place scream, gotta get out the. Yeah, I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man's so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch man, please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees, I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the. Wake up, get out the sheets. We came for war, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. Yeah, I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man's so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch man, please use caution. Beg, please get on your knees, came from the jungle, up in the trees. I got a few tricks up in the sleeve. One wrong move, I'ma let out the. Big shoes, check out the crease. Blow like I'm Bigfoot, step on the beat. Make a man's run till he step out the cleats. When the whole place scream, gotta get out the. Yeah, I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man's so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch man, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that.
I know the exact question that you want to ask right now. What got those shots?
Yeah, our secret weapon was a small drone about this big with a GoPro mounted to the top of it and another little camera underneath that the pilot puts on the goggles, and that's how he flies it. So he is literally in the aircraft flying that thing around. It does about 200 kilometers per hour, max speed, and it's super impressive. So as far as we're aware, that was potentially a New Zealand first for FPV drones, definitely within ski fields anyway.
The results on camera were really stunning, but what was it like as a skier, Janina, getting chased down by that thing?
Yeah, no, it's just crazy how fast the drone will fly by you. But I think it was crazy for the guys that were actually spinning and 1 second it's like on their right side, next second it's on their left side, and it's flipping upside down. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And we found out this is the 3rd worst August on record for snowfall, according to NIWA in the Southern Lakes District. How much of a challenge was that?
Yeah, our patroller in the morning said, if you want to build anything, if you want to dig anything, I need to bring axes. This kind of says it all.
OK, congratulations, though. Fantastic edit. Which brings us on to our 3rd and final mountain shred edit from Diaries Down Under and Team Smoothie. Sam, we mentioned earlier that it's your home resort. How much of an advantage did that give you?
I think it was a huge advantage. I've spent, 34 long years there and have worked out pretty much most ways to get down the hills.
From your perspective, Nick, how did it work? Was Sam the Pied Piper or were you leading it?
I think it was definitely a joint effort. We knew the zone. I'd like to think it was a collaboration.
Let's head over to Treble Cone and see how the Whip Cracker and the Capturer got on.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. When it rains, it pours. Water's up to my chin. Won't stop fighting to the very end. Many men try to reach it. Many men have failed. Well, if you wanna get to heaven, you gotta raise a little hell. And I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night.
Somehow we've managed to lose Tian, Christy, and Bo.
Pretty nice day.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Should have put a babysitter on him, I guess.
I'll take you away to where the sun shines. So bright, so bright. You can stare at the stars at night. You can tell me anything you like. I'll take you away to where the sun shines. So bright, so bright. You can stare at the stars at night. You can tell me anything you like.
Yep, let's do it. You. Holy.
Very, very impressive, gentlemen. Was it planned to split the group like that?
It was planned, yeah. So we always thought, let's just let everybody work to their strength. We sort of discussed it on the ride up. It was pretty, we wanted to make sure that everybody was going to the zones that they wanted to. We knew we had a super strong crew of free riders. like your man Smoothie right here. So we knew it was an obvious choice to go to the top with some of them. And then obviously the freestyle crew, we just said, go get after it.
And it looks, I'm sure it's just the magic of the camera, but it looks like you got some good snow up around the Summit Rocks.
The Summit Rocks was absolutely heinous. It was like landing on ball bearings, and trying to slow down could take 200 metres, and you knew you were hiking straight back up to do it again. We did find some little hidden windblown back pockets for some turns later on, but yeah, the summit was about as bad as I've ever skied it.
Was Jamesa all right after that slam? It looked like he was physically being driven into that ice.
Yeah, that man's made of tussock and dobros, so he's fine.
Three very impressive and very different films. It's almost a shame to judge them, but that is the nature of this competition. So how are they judged? 80% on the athlete's performance, 20% on the filmmaking skills.
A big moment this. In third place with 60 points, it's Team Kuzma. In second with 80, it's Team Smoothie. But in first place, taking 200 points, thanks to that joker, it's Team Wells. Which means the overall scores look like this. On 400 points, it's Team Kuzma, but tied for first place on 440 points going into the fifth and final event. It's Team Smoothie and Team Wells.
All of you guys are very sharp here, and I'm sure you know what that means. For Janina and Jace, even if you win the final edit, it means that you can't do better than second. Disappointed?
Didn't know that.
I knew that. We did all the sums. We did all the sums at home. Yeah.
OK, it will be the first time each of these guys have seen each other's films, so it's a nerve-wracking moment. But before we get into the films, I'm going to introduce you now to some of, I believe, the most inspiring on-snow athletes in New Zealand. And I say that in full knowledge of the people who are stood next to me. I challenge you to watch this and disagree with me.
Being up in the mountains is an amazing environment where you're away from your so-called disability and you can leave that behind.
Yeah, I enjoy the speed. I guess I just like those extreme sports, you know, like where you get that adrenaline rush.
For me, that was something where I found a lot of independence and freedom that I suppose I was looking for.
That's where I have the most fun, I think, just free skiing. Kind of just look where you want to go and you can go there where you can't do that in a wheelchair.
New Zealand's always sent athletes away to the Paralympics from the early 80s, and we've always brought back Paralympic medals from every single Paralympic Games, apart from my first campaign in Torino in 2006. And I think there's something to be said about that legacy and continuing that legacy. It's been great to see the program develop, to see more athletes come along, to have a bit of a development team come along too.
When the media in Paralympics, when they started to combine well, then we saw a real ongoing effect because everybody could see it. It turned up on your TV, it was in, you know, mainstream news all the time. What we do at Snow Sports is we provide the equipment and a lot of help into the actual ski schools, and then it's all integrated within the able-bodied side.
Every single guest we have coming through is completely different, and you know the way that we adapt with that is pretty cool, and we always come up with new ideas to make it work even better. So there is no barrier. We can have anybody come skiing. It doesn't matter what it is, what your impairment is. Anybody can come up here and give it a go.
And it'll be good to grow the sport in New Zealand too, I think. Whether you just want to have fun or race, anything, it's just sick.
So it's just to make it accessible, make it available to people to gain their independence, like what I found, to be able to enjoy family holidays, be more independent with family trips to the mountains, whether that's in New Zealand or abroad, or to get into some training and see if they can push the limits and reach the national team and go on to represent New Zealand at some of these big competitions.
It's a pretty straightforward question. What's your excuse? There literally is no reason not to come up the mountain, able-bodied or additional needs. You should be up here enjoying the snow. You were filming that piece, weren't you?
I couldn't keep up. I literally could not keep up with them. Like, they would just charge off, and it was quite, end of the day, quite cut up snow. And I'm obviously chasing with a camera rig, but I'm just like, well, I'm backing off, and he's gone. I'm like, oh, that shot's gone.
Yeah, the suspension block means they can cut through anything. It's absolutely ridiculous. Right now, though, take a deep breath. It's time for the 5th and final round of Winter Games Obsidian. These are the overall edits, and they'll be judged 100% by the media judges. And we're going to air them in reverse order of the overall standings after the Mountain Shred edits, which means that Team Kuzma is up first. Take it away.
I actually have the lead character in our film right here. Obsidian, which, if you don't know, is lava that has cooled rapidly. And it pretty much makes glass. So there you go. One for you.
Lovely. Who else wants to go?
One for you.
How many characters have you got, man?
And mine's aptly shaped in case you beat me.
If you were to be reminded of your insignificance, how would you respond? If you were to have taken from you what was given, what would you feel? Foe versus foe, man versus man, it is all in vain, for this time I shall decide your fate. Step forth into my challenge, but heed my warnings carefully. Once softly spoken, they shall be heard. These playgrounds may bring you great triumphs, but do not stray from your path. You have been gifted this one opportunity, so make it count. Follow those who have been chosen to guide you, should you get lost on your journey. Pay close attention to the other old souls you encounter on this journey, for they have much to teach you.
I've been around these parts longer than you could imagine. Borne witness to things that would take 1,000,000 lifetimes to comprehend. Left my mark on people, and in turn they have left their marks on me. What do I feel? I feel good in the morning when the sun hits my face. What do I hear? Maybe the most beautiful sound I hear is silence. Go wild, wild. Fly like you never want to go down. Do the forbidden things. If it's forbidden, it's much more interesting. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, but do it. Touch the fire, and then you know how it feels. If you get this once, this is your drug, then you never stop. As you get older, time goes faster. You wouldn't believe how fast time goes. And with this brings change. But I like it. Change is the only thing guaranteed. It's this change that adds the color to life. I have been referred to as all kinds of things over the years. Fun, inspiring, harsh and jagged, or some kind folks have once called me remarkable. However I have been named, I come as I am.
Lay your head to rest. Seek comfort and shelter as my true powers are revealed. Do not look yet at what has been done. Awaken and see the blood flowing through these veins. Look at what has been created to share with you. You are granted access to unseen paradises. Drive yourself across these scars. Lift yourself in those machines you have made for exploration. But respect my presence, for there shall be consequences if you do not. This is your final chance to show me what you are made of. Give it your all. As the sun chooses to withdraw its warm embrace once more, retreat, leave nothing but an impression for me to remember you by. For this was our brief moment to share.
Wow. Congratulations, that was truly phenomenal.
So, as one of the narrators, Obsidian itself, and as one of the other narrators, then the Remarkables Mountain Range.
Yeah, so this...
I liked that, so that was really cool, use of narration.
Yeah, cool. The scripts evolved over the space of about 2 weeks and ended up being Mr. Remarkable representing the mountain range, and then Obsidian being from Earth, representing Earth as such, and as well as the event.
Some beautiful deep metaphors there. But
you are not taking this very seriously.
What is it like to be metaphorically, like, best second or third?
I'm just extremely excited to see yours.
Well, I can say, as a neutral here, that you have set the bar incredibly high, and I'm looking at Nick and Tim at the moment just because that will give us a good indication of how nervous they're feeling. Well, you guys, you're currently even on points. First place equal. I think it's only fair with the momentum you've built up and that wonderful joker in the mountain shred that you guys can have the last show. So, Team Smoothie, take it away. Please introduce your film.
Would you like to introduce your film?
Yes, I would. We thought with everyone watching so much current affairs these days, the most reasonable way to do this would be a news story. So we set about creating our own news channel. And it's a lot easier than you'd think.
Says the athlete.
Channel 8 brings you the team that takes your news stories to new heights. The team that stops at nothing. The team that does nothing to stop. It's time for Smooth News.
Good evening, New Zealand. I'm Samuel David Smoothie.
And I'm Jessica Hotter.
Leading tonight's news bulletin.
Millennials, how much responsibility is too much?
How's the jump looking?
I haven't hit it yet, but...
You haven't hit the jump?
No, I haven't hit it. I'm late.
Champagne. Good on your face as well as your belly.
And the search continues for Daryl's dog.
Tonight's broadcast is a Winter Games special as we follow living legend Sam Smoothie as he completely dominates the Winter Games field.
And now we go to Cadrona, where athletes will be competing on the big jump.
Yeah, mate, we got big air here today. I think the last big air I did was 2004, and I got knocked out.
There's no team green in my category for finals, but the snowboarder, Tian, is holding it down.
Team Kakariki Green has come out absolutely swinging. The big air event has been an absolute throwdown here. Perfect conditions for trickery in the air, jumps, grabs. It's been one hell of a show, and I'm incredibly proud of my guys and girls. Unfortunately, Jossie Wells, team captain, has gone down. It looks like he's broken his wrist. So, you know, the news never stops.
There's rumours that this may have been plotted by Team Yellow. What are you going to say about those rumours?
Yeah, I have heard from a very credible source, actually, that Team Yellow has been diluting Jossie's milk in order to prepare for this. So a real bit of treachery there from Janina Kuzma.
That's funny, I put something in my milk once. I woke up at the zoo.
And on to our next story.
Something from a higher elevation.
We're at the top of Out There Summit. We're about to ski a face called WTF.
I'd never ridden WTF before the competition. We got there and the conditions were actually pretty good for what we expected, and yeah, it was great being able to get out there with everybody and put on a good show in a proper freeride environment.
How you feeling?
Pretty gassed.
Now that's a total green out. What a tactical genius that man is. Devilishly handsome as well. I would.
And now to our business analyst to show us what it all means.
Thanks, Jess. Righto, folks, let me break it down for you. As you can see, due to the Joker card, the green team's points are absolutely skyrocketing, while the opposition's points are absolutely plummeting. The stats don't lie.
I basically grew up at Triple Cone. My parents would just put me out on the field and just let us go wild. We just had that whole area to explore, and you know, it was our playground. It was really special just seeing everyone's unique way of looking at the mountain, how to lay lines across it, and just how everyone sees the mountain so differently. We set out to enjoy everything Triple Cone has to offer, and we rode that place like fully top to bottom.
So I had to figure that one out. Billy and I and Ray get together and play at a place called Recommunication on the peninsula, which was 3 miles away, for about $7.
Somehow we've managed to lose Tian, Christy, and Bo.
Pretty nice day.
This brownie though.
Like a runaway plough on the highway, Team Green is absolutely mowing down the opposition.
It'll be interesting to see how the other teams went in such variable conditions.
No chance! Crossing now to the voluptuous flat earth weather person, Hank Billis.
Thanks, Sam. Unfortunately this week it's super wet everywhere, except for right down low. Down in...
Thanks, Hank. Team Green is settling in for the big win, as red and yellow's chances are absolutely circling the drain.
The rail jam was really fun. The rails pretty much catered to everybody that was involved, and it was the one I was looking forward to the most, so I was stoked.
It's super fun, just trying to see what I can find some air off.
Judges ready?
Rail jam was cool because we had different features other than just rails. We had the quarter pipe and the side hits, and it was really fun because everyone had something that they could do stuff on.
Team Green there really running the other teams through with that lance of victory.
The results aren't in yet. Things could still change. But what we do know is that the Winter Games Obsidian has been a great success, and we can't wait for next year.
From all of us here at Channel 8 News, stay smooth, New Zealand.
I'm not really sure.
And I probably couldn't be more different if it tried from Team Kuzma's offering.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about working to our strengths earlier, and I think if Sam has, well, he's got many strengths. One of them is talking in front of camera, so playing to that was just sort of the obvious choice. We had like 3 different concepts, you know, one about the mountains, and then, you know, I talked to Sam, and I didn't really get through much of the other one. As soon as it was news talk, we're on. And the rest is history, really.
Sam Burgundy is born.
Yeah, heaps good at camera talk.
OK, well, that brings us on. You've won the mountain shred with a joker. You're in a position, if you can do well on this edit, to take the overall Obsidian title.
It's all good, bro. Just the entire team is on your back.
Absolutely. There's absolutely no pressure on you, Tim. Take it away.
We went in a very different direction. We landed on a film called Comfortable. And basically this came through a bunch of chats with Joss. And the idea was basically, as snow sports athletes, they're constantly in this uncomfortable position and having to push past their minds. And we wanted to explore kind of how and why these 7 athletes do that. Push past their minds to grow and progress and kind of become better people. So it's very deep, very philosophical, and hopefully everyone gets a good kick out of it and enjoys the story.
Amazing. OK, let's check it.
If we lived in comfort all day, every day, humans wouldn't be here. Everybody has to get uncomfortable at some point.
To a degree, being comfortable is nice. I like going home and putting my trackies on and watching sport on TV, but I also like to get out there and live life.
The easy road is a great road, don't get me wrong, but I think that there's other roads all along the way that you'll find will have more purpose or more reward. You just have to take the first step down one of them.
Yeah, we definitely embrace like being uncomfortable. It's definitely an addictive feeling and state of mind, I guess.
Fear is something that I'm looking for. It's not reckless, it's all calculated, but that fear and then conquering that fear, that's a kind of ecstasy that lasts for a long time.
Fear can be a good thing. It not only pushes us to consider something else, or it pushes us to our limit, our boundaries, but it also tests us and shows us what we're capable of.
I think it's the way that you act when you're in those moments that kind of brings out your true colours. I wouldn't say it defines you as a person, but it definitely puts in your face like what you're made of, you know, and there's no shying away from it really.
I experience throwing up at the top of courses, and every time I compete and having full-blown panic attacks, can't breathe, hyperventilating, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible, and how I overcome that is by switching off and letting my body kind of do what I've prepared to do.
It's in those moments of fear that I think a lot of us will go into a state of maximum focus, and that's when you see incredible outcomes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Into zone B and on the face.
Some people are content where they are, and maybe that's a gift. If you have this insatiable desire to always be better, then maybe you won't be that happy.
Our entire jobs are built around pushing further, harder, bigger. I think it's really healthy. It keeps things interesting. It keeps us moving forward. And when we're surrounded by a group of people who are all on that same path of trying to bring out the best in themselves, that just motivates you to bring out the best in yourself also.
Growth and progression are something that we should be embracing, and are parts of our industry that we need to learn from, you know.
Doing these sports professionally and competing against people, that is just putting ourselves in an environment to grow the best.
In our game, we have to progress at lightning speed. If we don't progress at the rate at which, say, our competitors or our fellow skiers and snowboarders, then we become obsolete. And that's quite scary, but what's the fun in staying at the same level your whole life?
The key to overcoming the challenges is visualizing that success and not getting too caught up in all the stress and all the anxiety and all the self-doubt that you have. It's just really trying to get in a good mindset and not giving up. Things don't always come straight away. It can be about persevering as well.
Congratulations, gentlemen. I feel like I've just watched a comedy, a documentary and an action movie. I didn't think it could be that different, but truly, truly brilliant. How did you work it with the athletes? Was it the same questions to each of them, or were you working with each individual athlete's personality?
It was a real mixture of questions. Some were the same for each athlete and some were separate, depending on the person. Yeah, you kind of just tried to get in there under the skin when you're asking them to open up and kind of show their vulnerability. But I was really impressed with everyone, and yeah.
They gave you that. They gave you, it felt very real with each of them. It didn't feel like you were feeding any of them lines.
Nah, not at all. It was all from the heart, from them. And I think especially a lot of the younger athletes, it really impressed me, their maturity. You know, I'm really surprised all of us when we were making the film. And yeah, I think we just hope that story is one that everyone can take away into their life and kind of learn from.
Little did you know as well, Jossie, that the curse of Team Wells in terms of injury would play so well into that story.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm there like talking about how it's healthy to keep pushing it and stuff, and then literally 2 days after I spoke that, I'm like in a cast.
Is that really even broken then, or is this just part of the
it's all part of the film. Add some drama. But yeah, to me it's interesting that as action sports athletes, we're like, whenever we're on the hill, we're like confronting this like fear and this danger and like pushing past it, and that's like the uncomfortable part. But for me, getting injured and then not being able to be a part of the rest of the Winter Games, that's like the uncomfortable part. Like some physical pain for an afternoon before I get a cast on is like all good, but having to sit out and not get to ride with my homies is like pretty weak, eh?
Janina, could you make a call on those, do you think?
No, definitely not. The films are all just so amazing and unique in their own ways, so I would hate to be a judge.
Jossie?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you always hear that at a competition. It's like, oh, I'd hate to be a judge, but it's like, no, you'd really hate to be a judge this time around, you know? They're all just like so different and all bring a different vibe, so I think it's going to come down to, you know, what each of these individual judges is feeling on the day.
Well, I think the one thing left to say is thank you to all of you here, the athletes who aren't with us, and everyone who worked on those films, cameramen, drone pilots, editors working through the night, for all of your hard work. It's clear to see how much passion went on screen there. The hard work does now begin, though, for the judges. They have the incredibly difficult decision of splitting those 3 films, which will decide our overall Winter Games Obsidian winner. And of course, we're not going to do the prize giving here in an empty studio with just 6 people. There were more than 30 people involved in the production of all of these films. So we're going now to the live prize giving.
The prize giving took place in the Wanaka Event Centre, and despite trying to look relaxed, it was clear that tensions were running high amongst the teams. The winners of the Obsidian film were Team Kuzma and Jace Hancock's film. Team Wells, Two Bearded Men, came in second, and Team Smoothie, Diaries Down Under, came third. Which meant
that Team Wells
would take the overall Obsidian title.
Ladies and gentlemen, Winter Games Obsidian Champions 2020.
Blood, sweat and tears from all of the teams, but a very deserving victory for Team Wells. They definitely played in that time-honoured currency of action sports, flesh. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. We'll see you next year.